What is up, nerds? It's Jerry from Them Nerds with Tony. We're here to talk to you about episode 3 of What If. Disney has done it again with this new episode. We've gone and deviled into something we've already seen once before, the creation of the Avengers. But things don't work out the way we planned it to. What do you think, Tony?
Well, I gotta be honest with you. I wasn't a huge fan of this episode. It just didn't do it for me the same way, the way that the first two episodes did. I did like a few of the little twists and turns. I liked some of the callbacks to the moments from the beginnings of the formation of the team in the MCU. But I don't know. What if is such a it's supposed to be such a high concept kind of show, and I don't know. There was something about like rehashing the origins of the Avengers again that just I didn't care for it. It felt like really like a filler episode to
I could see why it felt a little filler. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more. I like the callbacks. There was you know, obviously through the course of it, you see their first approach to Iron Man at the donut shop, and in the Avengers we've all known, this is where Nick Fury and Black Widow kind of convince him that he's needs to get on the path of becoming an Avenger, and unfortunately, we see old Tony take one for the team.
me. Yikes.
And then we move on to Thor, and you slowly see it where they're kind of pinning this idea that maybe Black Widow is assassinating people.
Right.
And then it goes on, to have Thor be killed by Clint Barton, and then Clint Barton looks like he may have committed suicide. Natasha's out on a side mission, which I like the callback of Crossbones that was in the arresting agent with Natasha,
Right.
very similar to the elevator scene with Captain America. And then she's free and trying to find out what's going on. We see the first time really that we've actually acknowledged that Mark Ruffalo's the Hulk actually took the place of Edward Norton's
Right.
the Hulk. And actually, a lot of the scenes that take place with the Hulk take place from those two movies. That university that's there, that's a direct link to the movie. So we get to see Betsy. Is that her name? Like Betsy?
Yeah.
We got to see her for a whole one movie. So I mean, I guess we didn't have to learn her name. She makes her return, and we've all kind of wondered where that part of the story went.
Yeah.
And
It felt a little weird to me.
that
Like
we're acknowledging.
seeing the Mark Ruffalo version of Banner interacting with the Betsy's played by Liv Tyler in the Edward Norton version of the Hulk. It felt weird. I don't know. Like it hasn't bothered me that we've had different Hulks, but for some reason seeing the one Hulk with Betsy was like it was weird, even though it's animated.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. I mean, obviously they didn't bring Liv Tyler back to voice the character, so but and so suddenly we're brought into this idea that there's somebody who's single-handedly taking out each Avenger, and we get to see the reemergence of everybody's favorite trickster, Loki, who makes a deal with them that if you give me the pound of flesh, that yes, there he is.
There he is.
You give me a pound of flesh, and we'll leave your world alone. And they end up taking a search. One thing I thought was kind of cool is during the scene with Black Widow, where she's going through and looking through the old case files. We obviously see that it's Hope who's killed, and this is it's all about hope. It's all about hope, but it actually is a callback to the Winter Soldier, where Black Widow talks about the accident that she's in, where she's able to pull out her partner from when the Winter Soldier actually attacks them. And that's what if you remember that scene where she's like, you can at least pretend like you know me. It's because that they had that interaction, and they kind of switched the places there to have it be Hope. And what would have happened if she didn't get saved? And so, it plays out, it continues to play out, and we find out that Hank Pym is the Yellow Jacket, and he's been the one who's killing everybody off.
Yeah. That's the one part of the episode that I enjoyed was uh Hank Pym being kind of like the bad guy and being kind of like off kilter, and wearing the yellow jacket costume was Chef's kiss. I enjoyed that
But
very much.
one of the things that I thought of immediately when they showed him in the Yellow Jacket costume was Loki, when they're on the variant planet where the pieces that don't line up end up there. Remember, there was that one large Yellow Jacket helmet that was just laying there. I thought I wonder if that could be, maybe we're watching timelines that have been cut, before. We don't know where this is all leading to.
Right.
So basically, this is a father who's taking out his pain of losing his child by killing off, the dream of Nick Fury. And we find out that it wasn't Nick Fury this whole time. It was Agatha. No, it was Loki. And,
Mephisto.
Yeah. They capture old Hank Pym, and Loki and Nick Fury have a conversation, and it's decided that Loki decides he doesn't want to leave, and we finally get to see what happens what happened if the Avengers weren't here on planet Earth to stop Loki.
Right. Yeah, we get this impression that because things had gone differently, that Loki was kind of taking on the role of like the leader of Asgard, and he was going to be responsible and hold up his end of the bargain. No, he wants to take over Earth.
Yeah. I thought one other thing that I figured they were kind of hinting at was the idea that Agent Coulson may have his variant also has more than just a fan crush on Captain America.
Yeah, what was his password? Like Steve, I heart Steve.
Yeah, Steve, Heart 0747 or something like that. And also when he's in the room with the dead Thor, he's just sniffing him and telling everybody how he smells like lavender.
Yes. They were not afraid to explore Agent Coulson's sensitive side. That's for sure.
It's kind of crazy because, for animation, they were really able to capture the one dimension that Phil Coulson gives on the screen.
I was wondering if you were going to comment on your hatred of all things Phil Coulson.
I feel like he is. I mean, I'm glad to see that even a cartoon can't bring the man to life.
That's amazing. Well, do you think, the first episode of What If, at the end we saw Agent Carter being pulled through and interacting with Nick Fury, but also with Clint Barton. And obviously that's not the same timeline that we saw in this episode. In episode 2, where we had T'Challa as Star-Lord, it didn't seem to connect necessarily to the first episode. This episode obviously doesn't connect to the previous 2 episodes. We had this thought that maybe they were going to be building to some kind of a connective event, but it doesn't seem like it at this point.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if by episode 3 they expect us to understand what's going on yet. And I got from this one that obviously they're rebuilding the team, which if we have a Captain Carter who's now floating into, but obviously this is not the same Nick Fury,
right?
Or at least not a Nick Fury that's at that point.
Right.
Well, actually, there's no way it can't be at that point because Clint Barton's dead in this Nick Fury's world.
Now, it could be the same Nick Fury, but it could be at a different point in the timeline. He could go to a different reality and pull some other variant of Clint Barton out to help with the team. We don't know. But yeah, at the end of the episode, we see Nick Fury tracking down and uncovering Captain America. We see him kind of de-icing the shield, and he says something like, "Hello, Captain." And we think he's talking to the shield, but then it pans back and we see Danvers is behind him talking to Captain Marvel. So we know that he's at least got 2 components to this new team. And if we are building to some kind of connective event, one would think that those 2, as well as Captain Carter, as well as some of T'Challa's version of the Ravagers, would play some kind of part altogether. So if they are building towards some kind of a connective event, then this episode was better to me. If it's a one-off, it felt like a filler. So
I feel like that each episode it's connecting a piece together, one thing that I think was a really strong point about the show is they're voice actors, because Natasha and Tony were not played by Scarlett Johansson or uh, Robert Downey Jr., and you would not have known by listening to the voices.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I was surprised about with the Betsy character, because I kind of thought they couldn't find somebody who kind of sounds like Liv Tyler, because it didn't remind me of that character at all. There was no lisp or nothing.
Nope. Now, I didn't go. I didn't go back and look at the voice cast to verify who's who, since I was so mistaken in the first episode about the voice actors. I probably should have. That had to have been Michael Douglas, right?
Yeah, it was Michael Douglas. Yeah.
I mean, there's no mistaking that one. I was like, if I'm wrong on this one, then I need to just give it up. But yeah, he was great.
Yeah, and hands down, like give a round of applause to the artist that were able to get his wispy old people eyebrows down.
I'm reaching an age where my eyebrows are naturally Michael Douglas eyebrows, so I can't talk too much crap. I'm starting to get the
pin particles on that.
Starting to get the Wilford Brimley, diabetes. Do we know what the next episode is yet?
I don't know, because I thought this episode was supposed to be about Doctor Strange, so I don't know what order it is. They don't really give you a idea what the next one's going to be, so like maybe the day before they give you a character poster. I'm guessing we have to be getting close to the Doctor Strange one. So
yeah, I thought that they would take advantage of all the buzz surrounding the Spider-Man trailer and the appearance of Doctor Strange by having the episode that has to do with Doctor Strange, but
yeah,
no such luck. Maybe next week.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right, nerds. What did you think of this episode? Do you think it connects? We don't know if we think it connects. Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget, if you like, subscribe, follow us on social media at We Them Nerds on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You could win this Shang-Chi Funko Pop. Anything else for the good of the order, Gerald?
I mean, just stay nerdy.
That's right. Be good. Be good to each other. Later, nerds.
Later.